How's it going, guys? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. I want to hop on here and talk about something I've been doing a deep dive of research into, and that is the presidential candidates. Robert F. Kennedy, can he save us? Really blown away with some of the things that I'm seeing. He's an extremely pro-crypto advocate, not only Bitcoin. I know he spoke at the Bitcoin conference and talked about the right to have sovereignty of your crypto and custody, and how he would protect that or not go after it, and really cool stuff. And he's not shy about speaking up about the war in Ukraine, and how the war in Ukraine can be stopped, and how the war in Ukraine was really instigated by NATO. And sure, it's a great tool for the war hawks in this country to say, look, Putin's the aggressor and he's the bad guy and we must fight him and help Ukraine because he is the obvious aggressor. And while he is that, there's also some logic saying that if a strong power of Russia was on Mexico's border, militarizing Mexicans and making us feel unsafe here, it wouldn't be a far stretch to think of the United States government going in and flexing some muscle and using aggression towards the Mexicans. Just an example. So like this logic that is lost and easily used by the war propagandists in government to keep war going, right? Robert F. Kennedy is not scared to speak up. And he also speaks a lot on his uncle's assassination, John F. Kennedy, and more recently skeptical on his own father's assassination, coming from the United States Intelligence Agency, the CIA. I mean, everyone's always had this conspiracy, who killed John F. Kennedy? It seems overwhelmingly clear that it was the CIA. Our own intelligence agency has assassinated presidents, or at least one president, right? And other, possibly if they killed Robert F. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, which looks like that's likely as well. And Robert F. Kennedy felt like the CIA did kill his brother. And obviously what the big logic behind that was because John F. Kennedy did not want to go fight all these wars. The CIA kept on coming to him, bringing him wars. Let's go fight the Cubans. Let's go fight in Laos. Let's go fight in Vietnam. And I think Vietnam was the last straw when the CIA made large attempts to instigate a war there. John F. Kennedy would not go to war. He was killed a month later. They put Lyndon Johnson in the White House, and you got your war. And a bunch of Americans were drafted and killed for nothing. That's hard to say, right? Not for freedom, not for American freedom, certainly. So anyways, so this is a man that understands how corrupt the system is, and this is a man that understands what Eisenhower said when he left the office before John F. Kennedy became president: be careful of the military-industrial complex. And on this channel, we talk about how important crypto is to stopping war, because the way the war machine's funded is through inflation. It's through newly printed dollars. It's not done through at least taxation. Taxation is not very good, but at least it gives political accountability to people. You raise my taxes for this war. I don't want to pay for the war, but now they do it through the deceitful and coercive way of inflating. And another big thing you're going to hear about Robert F. Kennedy, they will call him an anti-vaxxer. Really, as someone that I agree with I agree with Robert F. Kennedy, and I don't think he's an anti-vaxxer. Can you be skeptical of things and against mandates and still be pro-vaccine? Like, obviously vaccines are medical miracles and all this, and during COVID, the mandates on a rushed vaccine can't be met with skepticism, and it can't be called to be true that taking the vaccine did not stop the spread. So then, like, how can you even, not that you should ever be able to justify it, but how can you justify it at that point, right? So Robert F. Kennedy has spoke out against the freedom that was taken away, and he does talk about it. Vaccine injuries are real things. Like, sure, the probability is lower, and some people that have higher risk of something like COVID should absolutely take the vaccine. But something like children should not have it mandated on them, because they have, and no one should have it mandated. This should be a voluntary thing, and he's not scared to speak up, and this is the fear that we've been governed by, and the tyrannical approach to governing that's slipped away, that's occurred. And it's really interesting that Robert F. Kennedy is running for president, and John F. Kennedy, his uncle, was such a great president, they had to kill him. That's, I never really studied him in depth until I have studied him in depth, but there's obviously things that I'm not all the way there as kind of a more stricter libertarian, but I really think this is really awesome. And I think, I think he's got a real shot, getting through the primary. Democratic primary is going to be very tough. It's very hard to beat an incumbent president in an election. It has happened. Obviously, Trump lost, George H. Bush lost, and but I don't think there's ever been a time, at least that I've seen, and then in the comments let me know, has an incumbent president ever lost his party's election? Obviously, I do not expect President Biden to debate Robert F. Kennedy, so he's going to go on a large speaking tour. He'll be on every podcast, and just having this conversation. I'm likely to register the Democratic Party to vote for him, and especially through the outreach I have, and the crypto community should really get behind someone like this. He's got a real shot. We have real legislative issues right now with the SEC going after Coinbase, looking to label things as securities, which, it's kind of immaterial, not great, but there is definitely a strong top political fight for cryptocurrency. And everyone's always says the government's going to go after it. And even if they do, there's things that they can't do if you know how to use crypto. But also, there's a real political fight that is pro-crypto. And we have real representation from other, I'll say DeSantis has been pretty pro-crypto, anti-CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and so is Robert F. Kennedy. I think Robert F. Kennedy is a better candidate than anyone the Republicans have rolled out. He seems not as hostile towards immigration. How's it going? That for some reason the Republican Party right now that's kind of their big thing. I'm a pretty open borders guy, but at least view this thing humanitarian. There's so hard for people to get their citizenship and right to work when they come here, and some of the best workers you'll find are immigrants, and it's incredible how that's missed by the Republican Party, and how it shouldn't be harder to get in here. It should be easier for the people that want to come in and work, and they're just really not there with it. So, Robert F. Kennedy could really save us. And when I say save us, no government's going to save you. He can get out of the way from the people that are trying to hurt you. So let me know your thoughts. I know he's a pretty big environmentalist. I think that from a libertarian's perspective, we want to be good environmentalists too, but the way we do that is through protecting property rights. And while we're probably not 100% there, I do think that can be accomplished. And I think it's a very worthwhile candidate. And let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for future content, and I'll see you in our next one.